Yeah, Josh and I just went to the beach and it was good. So we've been trying new beaches. So last
Okay.
week or 2 weeks ago, we went to North Beach, which is the same beach as South Beach, but it's on the north side. And that best kept
Oh.
secret. I'm amazed I'm saying it in the public like this. Everyone's gonna know.
We have a lot of Florida listeners.
I know, and most of them are in Miami.
So
They're
there you
good.
go.
So, yeah, I'm going to change my story. We went to North Beach and it was really bad. We would never go back to North Beach again.
Oh,
No
you're joking.
parking. Yeah, go to Sunny Isles. That was the best beach to go to.
Now I don't know what to believe. Okay, wait, let's start over. Okay.
Okay,
Have you been to
so
South Beach?
yes.
Would you recommend?
Um, for sometimes, yeah. You
Okay.
will likely smell weed.
Okay.
Probably very busy. There's like a million volleyball courts.
Okay.
Nice walking path. Beach is really
Okay.
pretty. Very busy.
Okay.
Hard to find parking.
Okay.
Hmm.
Would you recommend North Beach?
This is the secret. It's the best beach.
Okay,
North
so
Beach
it
is
is the best.
amazing. Yeah, it's so pretty and no one is there. We parked there all day for like $5.
Oh my gosh.
It was amazing.
Oh my
Yeah, there
gosh.
was no
Okay.
seaweed. Everything was perfect. I know. That's where we
Wow.
found sea glass. That's how magical it was.
Wow. So much
I
sea
know.
glass. It came up from South Beach.
All the
All the
Heineken
people.
bottles. I'm
All the
sure it
people.
did.
All the people boozing. And then all the
Yeah.
old people who go to North Beach to say, "Oh, look at all these treasures."
Wow, nature's gemstones.
Yes.
But yeah, so we went there last time. Really great. Today we went to Sunny Isles, which is by Aventura.
Okay.
And Aventura is really nice. Getting there was pretty atrocious. Finding parking was really bad. We ended up parking at this hotel lot that had this guy in like this shack who was the tender, or whoever, like the guy who would like raise the
Oh.
bar and make you pay. And we said, "Hey, we saw people parking there and then going to the beach." And we said, "Oh, can we park here for the beach?" He said, "For what?" And we said, "The beach." He said, "This is for hotels only." And we said, "Oh." And then he said, "There's beach parking up the street for $5 an hour. Or you can pay me $20 to park here all day." And we're like, okay. At that point, we had missed so many turns. There were so many things that we thought were parking lots that weren't. So we're like, that sounds great. But we were concerned that our car wouldn't be there. At the end, we had no receipt. He gave us no ticket. I don't know.
Okay, so basically he was like, this is for hotel guests only, but if you give me a $20 bill under the table in cash, I'll let you
Hmm.
park in the employee spot.
Yeah.
Wow.
But honestly, we're like, sounds good. We'll do it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we parked there. And then once we got to the beach, it was a lot better. And it was a nice beach. But yeah, I mean, it was more crowded than North Beach. There was more seaweed, but still not a lot of seaweed. It was kind
Mhm.
of cold, but that's not the beach's fault.
And that's not the beach's fault.
So yeah.
I felt like Hollywood Beach would always have like a layer of seaweed. And if you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have fun in the ocean, you had to like cut through the seaweed.
I think so too. Yeah, like jump over it.
Jump over
Yeah.
it or like even swim through it sometimes because it would be like once it
In the
got like a little
water.
deeper. Yeah. And maybe I could have been swimming under it. Maybe that could have
Ugh.
been an option.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I know seaweed scares me. I don't like seaweed.
It grosses me
That
out. And then
really
you
ruins
get,
your experience.
yeah, and then you get sea lice,
Yeah, that's real gross.
which is gross. It's literally, okay, whoa. I didn't
What?
realize it was actually a bug.
Sea lice?
Yeah, I thought it was just like a funny little
That was the
name.
name. Wait, what is it? Yeah, I don't know what it is either.
It says it's caused by jellyfish larvae in the ocean that get trapped in your bathing suit and sting you. Oh, okay. So they just sting you. They're not living in you.
Oh. Huh.
Oh, no. Mm-mm. Okay.
No, what?
Okay. The larvae are transparent, so you can't see them. and they're very tiny, 2 to 3 millimeters long.
Okay.
They get trapped in your hair or in between your bathing suit and your skin. When you get out, the water drains off you, but the larva stays behind.
Oh.
Ew.
Okay. Ew. Okay, but they don't go inside you.
No, it sounds like they live on you.
But then can't you just wash them off?
No, it says when you get out, the water drains off you, but the larvae are on there.
Well, yeah, but then when you go home and take a shower,
Oh yeah, maybe.
you wash them
All
off,
right.
right? Oh, gosh.
It
That's
says
gross
fresh
though.
water will make the jellyfish start to sting again and may worsen your pain. Oh God.
What?
Okay.
Usually you have to bathe in salt water?
Instead, take off your bathing suit as soon as you can and rinse your body. With what? It doesn't say. WebMD not giving us the facts.
Yeah, I need detailed instructions.
Wow. Okay.
Oh
There's
no.
there's a lot, but it woof. Okay, gross.
Yeah,
But you didn't get any of that because you didn't go into the
no.
seaweed.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, there was very little seaweed to begin with, and I did not go in.
good.
So, win-win.
All right. So that was what beach was that?
So this was Sunny Isles today.
Sunny Isle. I was gonna say
Hmm.
Crystal Palace. I was like, no, not that.
What is that? Is that somewhere else in Florida? That sounds
That's
so
a
familiar.
yeah, it's a really cheap vodka. We used to sell it
Oh.
at TGI Fridays.
Oh,
It
it
was
sounds so deluxe.
Yeah, I know. It comes in a big, huge plastic jug and is probably like one step away from
Oh
rubbing alcohol.
my gosh. That would kill the sea lice. That's what you should bathe in.
Yeah, bathe in Crystal Palace.
The Florida special.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, today we're talking about finally,
Guy
we
56.
had Guy 56. Their name changed
Yes,
on
I saw that on Apple Podcasts.
now they're just the Emoji Man.
No, I think they're defying gravity.
Oh.
There's someone else who's an emoji man. So we got this comment.
Oh.
Yeah, we got a review on Apple Podcasts months ago. When did he leave it?
I think
In
it's a she
September.
now. We don't
I
know.
don't know. We can't tell.
They.
Yeah, so the commenter at first, the username was like Guy 56 or something. Something
Yes.
like that. But we kept forgetting the number, but it was Guy something. Now it's Defy Gravity with two hearts. So I think they're a Wicked fan.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting.
Oh, I didn't even pick that
Hmm.
up.
Hmm.
Oh, and it's pink and it's green.
Yep, yep,
Okay. Yes. So Defy Gravity, this is for you. 6 months later.
yep. Okay,
You're
actually like 3 or 4 months.
okay. That's pretty good.
That's, yeah. I mean, that's how long your wait list was for the library.
That's true.
Did you end
That's
up
true.
buying it? Or did you wait for the library?
No, remember Meg got it from Goodwill and then she
Oh, that's right.
first patron of the pod,
Yes.
Meg.
Well, you were after you bought me my microphone.
Oh, that's right. Okay. First
Us
non-URI
patron.
patron of the pod. Well, while we're here, we did get 2 reviews on Apple Podcasts. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I know, they were so nice. I texted Candy. I said, "Was this you or one of your friends?"
I said, no,
They're
I was
so,
just as shocked as Chrissy was.
I know. That's so cool.
Do you
Yeah.
want to
Okay,
read
well,
them?
yeah, okay. Well, there's two. I'll read one and you can read one if you have it pulled up.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so one is from Splattered Mess. Hello. Great username.
Hello.
This person said, I love your podcast. It has introduced me to many good books, and I love the conversation dynamic. I've listened since Elantris.
What?
What? Whoa. This
Lie.
person stuck through Elantris and lessons in chemistry.
I'm sure they quit lessons in chemistry. I hope they did. They wouldn't have
Yeah,
come
I
back if they hadn't.
I hope so too. Okay, but then this person said, and just today finished Princess and the Goblin on Spotify.
Wow.
Someone liked the book. Well, at least they finished listening to it
Yep.
and now transferring over to Apple Podcast app. Wow, that's awesome.
Amazing.
That's so great to honestly that did make me so happy. It's like, wow, someone likes this. And I also think it's fun that they were introduced to new books. Because I think that's a hard
Yes.
thing. Yeah, that's a hard thing with a book podcast because I only want to listen to things I've already read. But this person is down
Oh,
to book club with us.
I know. Maybe they're the one
That's
person
cool.
who voted and said that they read along with us.
Yeah. Splattered mess, we're here for you. Whatever book
We are here for
recommendation you
you.
have, yeah, let us know.
Throw it in. And if you're listening right now and you want us to ooh and ah over your wonderful review, you can do so on Apple Podcasts. They let you write a review. Spotify, you can only give numbers, but you can also email us at bookalicious.pod@gmail.com.
hmm Make our
Okay.
day.
Our second review, we got these like back to back. Like,
I
wow. Like
know.
Sabrina said, when it rains, it pours.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So this one says, love it. 5 stars. Thank you. The handle is a bunch of emojis. Let me zoom in here.
Oh, she's doing her own emoji game.
I can't, I'm on a Mac. I don't know how to zoom.
Yeah, no, I can't really zoom either. I could take a screenshot, I guess. But I'll be honest, I don't know if I would even know all these animals. Okay, no, I think I got it. It's a, oh shoot, cheetah? Cheetah,
It
horse, dog horse, poodle.
dog horse.
It looks like a mix between a dog and a horse.
Y- No, you're out of here. I found my zoom button.
Okay, well, how would you describe that
Oh,
orange four-legged creature?
okay. All right. Now that I made fun of you, I really got to come through. Cheetah with the spots, Seabiscuit, Shiba Inu, Poodle, Orange Tabby, Tiger, Tiger, Tiger. This
Okay.
person. Okay. 5 star review. Love it. They said, best book podcast I found. Me too.
What? We have something in common.
It's so fun to listen to and always makes my day better. That warms my
Wow.
heart. I
I
loved that.
know. Me too. That was so nice. That makes me so happy because we have a lot of fun potting and listening to
Yeah.
our podcast. So it's glad this is a shared experience.
Yeah, exactly. It really keeps us going.
We were about to quit until we
We
read those two. We finally did our due diligence to defy gravity. This is it.
Okay.
We're not
Well,
appreciated enough.
so today we're doing Somewhere Beyond the Sea.
Oh, you have a cool thing. We probably have the same cover. You have a cool font though. Oh,
This
did you
is
take off
now
your cover?
the, yeah.
I have the library edition with the plastic extra cover, so I can't take off the outside
Oh,
cover.
they tape it. Wow.
Yeah, it's high security.
High security. They want to be protected in case you bring it into the bathroom
Oh.
or the toilet
Maybe
book.
I have. Maybe I haven't. Who knows?
So did you smell it?
Oh my gosh, I forgot. It smells fresh. I mean, it looks like a new book. It's a nice hardcover, no markings in the book. It smelled pretty fresh.
Mine smells pretty fresh too. I would be alarmed if it didn't because this book came out in like
That's
August.
true. But yours was from Goodwill. Man, that person put it in Goodwill really quick.
They read it and they went, phew.
That's it for me.
Well, so I'm not going to do an author recap, but I do have some author work prepared.
Oh,
So I think we
yes.
should just do the intro. Wait,
We haven't
do we
done it
do the
yet.
intro now?
Oh, we always forget. Let's just do the intro now.
All right, we'll do it now. All right.
Do you want to do it? You did so well
No,
last time.
no, I got scared last time.
It's pretty high pressure.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize.
I practice every day.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, well, welcome to Bookalicious. This is a podcast where two sisters chat about books we're reading. I'm Chrissy,
And I'm Candace.
and after that flawless delivery, we're gonna we're gonna get into our request from Guy 55 slash Defy Gravity, Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. Woohoo!
Woohoo.
The sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea, also by TJ
Yes.
Klune.
Yes, which we really enjoyed. House,
That was a fun
but
story.
it's really interesting. Yeah, very fun, nice slice of life type of book. Okay, so what I have prepared for us is so reading this book, it's clearly a political commentary on the LGBTQ community. I don't think TJ makes that um, hard to see. So I thought it would be good to kind of look and see what are some of TJ's motivations for writing the book and what are some of like the bigger political things going on that kind of is the motivation for the
Hmm.
book. I thought it
Sounds
would
good.
kind of give me a better appreciation of what is happening because Chrissy and I were offline talking about it. And whenever you have a book that has like a lot of like the author's opinions or commentary on like society or something like that, it can feel a little like candidly like preachy, or it can feel a little like Bonnie Garmoose a little bit.
Hmm.
So I wanted to just kind of see where he was coming from.
Sounds good.
Yep. So I found this interview that TJ did with Christy Chadwick from the Library Journal, and I'll make sure we have all these links so that we can put it in our show notes. And I pulled out some of the questions I thought were really good.
Ooh.
Okay, so Christy asked TJ, you mentioned that this book, Somewhere Beyond the Sea, was never supposed to happen. How did you end up writing a sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea? And so TJ responded that he thought that House in the Cerulean Sea was supposed to be a one and done. But then over the past few years, there's been a lot of anti-LGBTQ plus, this is his quote, vitriol seemed to explode, particularly against the trans community. The first book was about being othered and what it meant to accept yourself as different. The sequel is about what happens when those who have been othered decide they've had enough. What does it look like to fight back against bigotry, not only for yourself, but for your entire community? That's why I wrote the sequel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. That makes sense.
Yeah, I thought that was really nice. Christy asks a question about like the characters in the book, especially the children, reflect a range of experiences and differences, even beyond the fact that several are not human. And then she asks, do you feel that using fantasy to explore identity and inclusivity is easier than in other genres? And that was something Christy and I had kind of offline talked about too, is that in the book, as you're reading it, being gay, being straight, that's not even a thought. That is like totally normal. The rub that people have is being human or being magical. And that
Right.
is where like the other happens or, you know, that type
Yeah.
of thing.
Except certain parts, which we can get into.
Yeah. Yeah. So what he said is that he said it's easier. He can ignore things about the real world that don't necessarily fit within the scope of the stories that he's telling. And yet he thinks that the world of Marsyas is instantly recognizable as not so very different from our own, where marginalized people experience bigotry every single day. And then he says, putting these stories firmly in fantasy, he can explore what bigotry looks like when it comes to things like magical children, because the root of all bigotry is a fear of things people don't understand.
Interesting.
What do you
Do you
think
agree
about
with that?
that? I think what I really like about the book is the fact that it's like we're not talking about being gay. That is
Hmm.
already like accepted. That's normal. We're talking about being magical and not magical. And I feel like for someone who grew up in a very like conservative religious family and is not part of the community, it's a lot easier for me to not have these like internalized ideas or like, I don't know. It's like easier for me to appreciate it, I guess, than if it
Because
was,
it's more of like an analogy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I do think that's an effective way to tell the story. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
What are
I
you
like that.
thinking?
Well, okay. So I was thinking about, he said the root of bigotry is fear. So I was like, well, what exactly is bigotry? So I looked it up, and the definition is an unreasonable attachment to a belief, opinion, or faction, in particular prejudice against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular group. Okay, so you unreasonably think something and you have this prejudice against
Hmm.
a certain group, which I think could be from fear. I think it could also just be from not knowing someone, which I guess we see in the book too. Like Linus meets magical people and then he changes.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I guess both those things could fit.
Yeah, which I think also you could distill that into a fear of the unknown.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like, just
Yeah.
because you don't know something doesn't mean that you don't like it unless you're afraid, like, you're like, well, I don't know if I like it or not.
Yeah, and you're like worried to find out.
Hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot of other, oh, I won't read his answer, but guess who TJ's favorite character is in the book?
Lucy? Oh, Bellhop.
Chauncey.
Chauncey. Yeah. Chauncey is pretty great. I really love all the kids' characters.
Yes, yes. So Chauncey is TJ's favorite. Chauncey is also my favorite.
I do like him.
Hmm.
I think he's my favorite too.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I would agree. So some of the legislation that TJ is talking about, I just pulled up. You can Google it. It's really easy. I found these from CNN, ABC, the CDC, and then NPR and AP News. So in 2023, there were 510 anti-LGBTQ bills introduced, which is three times the amount from 2022 and is the
Oh,
most ever. So in 2018, it was 42 bills, and then in 2023, it was 510. Of those 510, 84 were passed into law. Most of these were about education, revolving around like what can be in curriculum, and then also healthcare related um, legislative bills, particularly gender affirming healthcare for transgendered youth.
hmm.
Um, Something that was like kind of crazy is that I was looking through ABC and then they were talking about health outcomes for transgendered people. And so, what was in the article is this link basically that gender affirming hormone therapy has been proven to improve mental health of transgendered adolescents and teenagers, according to this recent study in the New England Journal of Medicine. And when I clicked the link to the CDC, it had 404 because I don't know if you heard all of that stuff, DEI has been scrubbed from
Mm.
any government website.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting. Well, but I feel like where did you try looking for the study elsewhere? It's okay if not.
I didn't have time, but
Yeah.
I did see that in the news that they have intentionally been trying to do it. So I did see it and I wasn't surprised about it. This isn't like saying like this is how Chrissy feels about it or this is how I feel about it, but this is kind of I think where TJ's coming from
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're
and
right.
how he's writing the book and like what he's looking at and where
Yeah,
he's at.
that makes sense.
There's also other studies that show people LGBTQ face higher health and suicide risks than cisgendered or straight peers. And according to the Trevor Project, kids who are given access to those spaces report lower rates of suicide attempts. The last thing that I had was the big antagonist in the book, the lady who is, we'll meet shortly once we open it. She is based on, can you guess?
Is it J.K. Rowling?
Yes. How did you know?
Because so this is a rare occasion where I finished the book before you even started potting on it. Have you finished it? Or you're
Oh, no, I'm like
almost
probably
done?
75%.
Okay, yeah. Well, I read the acknowledgments because you got to read it cover to cover. And if you have the acknowledgments in yours, like basically the full first page is this is against J.K. Rowling. Do
Wow.
you want me to read a few snippets? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, someone asked him like, what is your legacy? What do you want to be remembered by? And he's like, I don't know. Then he said, in writing this sequel, I realized that's not quite true. I do want to be remembered as something, and it's very specific. Not the Antichrist, but the anti J.K. Rowling. I want
Oh.
to be her antithesis, her opposite. Then he goes on, he says, to make it unequivocal, J.K. Rowling's beliefs on trans people are abhorrent and have no place in a modern society. People like her, people who believe trans people are somehow lesser, deserve to be shunned until they disappear into the ether. As Arthur said in the novel, hate is loud. He's right. And then he goes on, which I
Hmm.
was like, oh wow. I'll be honest, totally out of the loop. I had heard J.K. Rowling had some tweets. I did not realize it was such a big. That really took me back. I'll be honest. I did not realize that was such a thing.
J.K. Rowling is a billionaire sitting in her castle, could do anything with her life, and is choosing to spend a lot of it tweeting a lot of anti-trans material, writing essays, sending tweets, XYZ. I think the reason why for her this was so upsetting for the LGBTQ community is because a lot of people in that community really aligned with Harry Potter and really loved the concept of, because like in Harry Potter, the story is kind of about you're this misfit who doesn't fit in with the rest of the people.
Yeah,
And you have like this hero's journey, grand epic fantasy type of thing. And now this is someone who a lot of people may have like idolized or thought really understood them or appreciated them, however they felt. And now they might feel like thrown away or unwanted, you know? So I think that's why I can understand why so many people were very, very upset about her personal opinions.
hmm, that's interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I looked through her website. And then on Twitter, I don't know what she's been tweeting. Her website, I thought she had a reasonable and not hateful like blog post about like here's why I tweeted those things or whatever. And I kind of thought, I mean, I don't know anything else that's going on with this whole dialogue between
Hmm.
them, but I thought she had a reasonable, approach. And she was like, I don't hate these people. I just don't agree with these decisions type of thing.
Y Yeah. And like candidly, I read some of her tweets too, and it's like not being part of the community, I can't really understand 100%
Right.
how someone who's marginalized like that would feel,
Right. And like, yeah, I'm
right?
really, privileged, I guess, that I don't need to know what these conversations are. Like
Well, yeah,
you
it's
know,
like we're sitting here
have been so
being
outside. Yeah.
yeah, being cisgendered white people who, for a lot of these types of issues, I've never experienced.
Right. Yeah.
So how would I, could there could someone write something about me or something I identify as and I could take it like wow, like that's really hurtful, and then someone else who hasn't had that experience not understand?
Right.
Definitely. So I
Yeah.
think part of it is just not having gone through that experience, not understanding it
Yeah.
100%,
That's a good point. Yeah.
you know, and neither has J.K. Rowling. She has not gone through that experience. And so it seems like she has just a lot of commentary on something that it's like she doesn't fully know, I guess, is what I would say. Like, I wouldn't write an essay like that. I wouldn't have a strong opinion saying what someone can or can't be, or, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I don't know. It's just interesting. There's a lot
Yeah.
there.
So there's definitely a lot there. And so, anyway, so the point of bringing all this up is that I think this book is really not written for you or me. I think this is really written particularly for the trans community and so that you can feel accepted and you can feel like a glimmer of hope in an environment where you might feel unwanted and you probably do feel unwanted and you feel like
Yeah.
people don't like you and don't want you around and want you to be different.
Yeah. No, I think for that, this book is real like hurrah, empowering.
Mhm. Yes.
I think he hits that really well.
Yes. Hmm. Yeah.
So,
So I think that's really who it's meant for. It's not meant for you or me.
hmm,
But we are reading
we can
it and I
still
think
read it.
we can still read it and I think we can still enjoy it.
Yeah. And like it's valuable to read stories about people who are different from you because I think it opens up good conversations. And like it's kind of a way of knowing people,
Yes,
or like starting to know someone's story. So it's for everybody, or it's whoever
exactly.
wants to read it. But
100%. I think that's a good point too, is that like we said before, we haven't gone through these experiences, so can I really comment on it? No. But by reading books like this can help me try to understand what someone in the community might be going through
Right. Yeah.
and kind of build up that empathy muscle.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Okay, that's what I have.
Okay, cool. So there's not like one piece of legislation. There was a bunch of things. Because at first I thought there was like one court case or something where it's like it was similar to this thing, but it was just a amalgamation of
I
lots
think
of
it's an
things.
amalgamation. There was one particular thing on like the Don't Say Gay that was passed in Florida, and that was
Florida.
yeah. So in this first part, I'll point out where it comes.
Okay.
But basically the high level summary of the Don't Say Gay is in Florida between this is what it says. This is what the bill said. Classrooms instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3 or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. Which on its face doesn't sound bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's difficult about it is that it makes it like TJ says, being othered, where it's like, well, if you're heterosexual, you're allowed to talk about that. You're allowed to talk about, oh, I'm getting married to my husband if I'm a woman, but if I'm a woman, I'm not allowed to talk about whatever that can't come up, and kind of feeling that way. But it was actually, there was a lawsuit that happened in Orlando, and this was, let's see, so that happened in 2020, I think. And then in 2022, there was an amendment. There was like a lawsuit. And the settlement spells out that the law is neutral, meaning what applies to LGBTQ people also applies to heterosexual people, and that it does not apply to library books not being used in the instruction for the classroom, which I think is good. If it applies to everyone, then fine. But it
So
shouldn't
there's
only apply to one group.
there's just like no sex education is what that means if it's applied
Yeah.
to all. I
Yeah.
think that makes sense for K through 3.
I think it does. I think where it gets like a little like weird though sometimes is like you might be reading a book and it's about like a family. And so if the
Right.
only families you're showing are heterosexual, it's like, well, what if your family doesn't look like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know? How are you feeling represented? Why does this family get to be shown and not that one? So I'm
Yeah.
thinking they just try to scrub all of that type of stuff out.
Hmm. Okay, I did kind of have a question on that, which is kind of
Hmm.
like higher level to do with the book too. But so we'll get into all the summaries and stuff. But basically the enemy in this book is the government, right?
Yes.
And they're
Yes.
trying to like get control, like, you can't say these words, no magical people allowed, all those things.
Hmm.
And then Arthur and Linus, they have their little like, haven on the island where they have their own curriculum. They're like the government's curriculum. Very bad. We're
Yeah.
doing our own thing.
Yeah.
And so and so there's like this fight against the government trying to say what you can and can't say or like teach the kids.
Hmm.
And so they're focusing on like their home education, basically. Like we as a
Yes.
family are teaching these things. These are the things we value. Isn't that kind of the same thing as the Florida bill, where it's like the values that you want to teach your kids, like do that at home. That's great. But like the school, we're not gonna touch that.
Right. And I'm thinking if what the curriculum was, if what the curriculum was truly neutral and they were just teaching like the facts and they weren't applying a level of indoctrination, which all schools apply indoctrination in every country. That's part of it. If it was truly neutral, I don't think Linus and Arthur would have a problem with it. But there's even a line in the middle of the book I just read, something about like talking about how magical people are like basically second class citizens. Like that's like some of the
Right.
stuff that's in the
Right.
curriculum.
Yeah. No, and I get that. Like, yeah, that's not good. But I
Hmm.
just the idea of like the government can't tell us what to do. Like we just have our own
Yeah.
family values. And I don't know. It just seemed like isn't that kind of the same thing of people on both sides are like we just want it like we want our family to believe what our family believes.
Yeah.
Don't want like the school's interference one way or the
Yeah.
other.
I
So,
think a lot of people would get behind if it was just neutral. But the problem is that it's like neutral with air quotes, and then it's just like we just teach heterosexual families. We just show heterosexual experiences. I think that's the problem.
yeah,
It would be like similar to like if you're talking about like history and you're only going through like the European white perspective
right. Yeah, you're
and
missing
you're
a
not
big part.
adding, yeah, you're not adding any other perspectives. And it's like if it was like truly neutral and it's like these are just like the facts and then there's like no coloring to it, I don't think people would be upset about it. But the problem is that it's really hard to just like have a series of facts and teach that to people. You have to teach people through stories and through this and through like different
Yeah.
mediums
But
and like you have them read books.
right. But no matter what, you're choosing which facts you're sharing because you can't share
Hmm.
all the facts in all the world.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah, no, I get that.
There's
But I
this
feel like there's just
concept.
always a line, I guess. You know?
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
and I think what they're trying to do is just trying to make it more realistic to what the world is.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's
makes
this
sense.
concept in economics, behavioral economics, and it talks about so behavioral economics, I'm not as polished as I used to be on it. But basically, it's just like the economics of choice and like individual decisions and how do people make choices. And one of like the classic examples is like in a lunchroom, you have a buffet line and people go and they can walk with their tray and pick what they want. If you put the fruits and veggies in the front, people are more likely to pick fruits and veggies
Hmm.
versus if you put dessert first because people naturally they just put the first thing that they see. So there's this consumer behavior that happens just by how something is presented to you. And you can be manipulated and make choices based on that. So then the question happens is that to your point, we have to assort the food in some manner. It has to
Yeah.
be assorted. So even if I do it random, that is like a choice that I'm making. So there's
Yeah.
no way to make it truly neutral because it's like we're people. We're influenced
Yeah.
by things. So, how can I use the information that I have on people's behaviors and I have to set up an order? Why don't I set up an order to encourage healthier choices?
Hmm.
And that's like the core concept of a lot of behavioral economics.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it kind of feels a little similar, where
Yeah.
it's like you do have to introduce some level of bias. How can we try to modify that to be as amenable to everyone, I guess.
Right. Yeah. But then it's just tricky because no one agrees on the same definition of healthy, is what it.
Exactly. Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Ugh,
So,
tricky.
yeah, this is definitely big topic. TJ's, I'm sure if we sat with a fine-tooth comb, we would find things that we disagree with TJ. There's things that we would agree with. And I think everyone would if you
Hmm.
if you're reading something that's as complicated as this
Right.
type of topic, you're not going to
Yeah.
agree 100%.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are we
Okay,
ready for our summary?
I think so.
Okie dokie. So this is chapters 1 through 6. So the end of 6.
Okay.
So a lot happens here. But we start with a flashback of Arthur Parnassus first returning to the island to build his home for magical youth with Zoe Chapelwhite, the sprite on the island. At the
Hmm.
end of the flashback, he gets a visit from Charles Werner, who has come to inspect the house. Arthur tells Zoe that he is not scared, but thinks they are the ones who should be afraid. Okay, then we jump back to the present in chapter 1, and we see that Arthur and Linus and all the kids are one big happy family, and the kids have made a questionable but loving attempt at a pancake breakfast for Linus's Bert because the sign ripped
Yes.
off on birthday. I thought that was funny.
I thought that was so
Yep.
cute.
Yeah. Zoe Chapelwhite, the island sprite, and Helen, the town mayor, are an item and they come to celebrate too. But not everything is fun and games on the island of Marsyas. Arthur and Linus need to leave for the big city so Arthur can testify about his abusive experience in the orphanage he grew up in. Arthur and Linus take the train to the dreary city and visit Linus's old house before making their way to their nice hotel right next to the courthouse. Linus and Arthur make a nice and detailed phone call home to the kids, only to discover their hotel room is bugged. They decide they'll use
Yep.
it to their advantage to show the government what a happy family looks like, and they slow dance the night away. The next day is the big day at court, and Linus and Arthur's short walk is riddled with reporters. Once in the courtroom, they're met by a certain Larmina, who is a government worker married to a magical lady. So she wants to give Arthur and Linus an inside scoop on the trial to level the playing field. Where did she get this info? None other than from Doreen Blodwell, aka Mrs. Bubblegum from book one.
Hmm.
Armina tells them that the hearing will be in the council of utmost importance, which is reserved for the direst of circumstances, one step below terrorism. It will be led by Janine Router, who's the Minister of Education, who is vying for the role as Prime Minister and wants to destroy Arthur's reputation as part of her PR campaign and her goal of stripping magical people of all their rights. So they have the hearing. Arthur tells his whole story. It's very moving. Then he gets all these questions. And basically, their goal is to rile Arthur up so that he appears to be unfit to raise all the kids. And it ends up kind of working because he turns into his phoenix form and like starts a fire in the courtroom, basically. And everyone's kind of freaked out. And they got lots of pictures of it. So
Yeah.
that's how it ends. Then after that, they meet Byron and I forget the other name, but that's okay. Byron and someone else, who are currently fostering David, who is a Yeti, who is going to join the uh, Arthur and Linus on Marsyas Island.
Hmm.
So they get introduced to David. He is a character. Their first introduction is him putting on a one-man show of a whole detective murder crime scene investigation thing. And they're like, oh my gosh, David, you're amazing. We love you. David David thought he had to audition to be in the school and to earn their love, but come to find out, they just love him off the bat, like parents love their kids. And so it's a really happy start for him. So they bring David back to the rest of the island. And does he meet the kids at the end of this? Have we actually gotten to there? I'll be honest, I wrote the first part of the summary and then I fell asleep. No, they're not at the
Um,
island yet.
no, no. David decides that he wants to go with Arthur and
Yes,
Linus, and that's
that's right.
kind of the
That's
end.
right.
Hmm. So, what did you think?
Let's see. I really love TJ's storytelling because I feel like he does a really good job of like putting you in there. I like all of his characters. I think especially the kids, like they're really fun.
Hmm.
And that's all really good. I will say at the beginning though, when it was like all one big happy family, I was like, because the first book kind of felt the same where I was like, I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah.
It's all happy. And like, so I was like, I wasn't super excited to read it just because I didn't know what the plot was. But I think the whole point is the plot really isn't the point.
Right.
So, so I think once I realized, and also once I realized, I feel like well, what do you think about this? The best way to view the book is as a caricature because it's like government
Uh,
is like
oh,
100% evil,
yes.
nothing good.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's
Yes.
also something that kind of bothered me where it's like everyone on the island, perfect. Angels. They do nothing wrong. Even when they
Yeah.
slip up a little bit, it's resolved by the end of the sentence. But people on the government, no redemption.
Buffoons.
Evil. Yeah, buffoons. They are just full of hatred. And that just kind of bothered me. I'm like, okay. But that's I think what he's going for.
Yeah. They're definitely like we talk about like the Scooby-Doo villain where they're very
Yeah.
one note. They're just evil to be evil, but like they're pretending like they're trying to help you, but you know
Yeah.
that they're not. They're really just trying to control you and like keep you down. So I agree with all of that. I think something that TJ, in my opinion, having now read two of his books, I feel like he struggles with is like the storytelling's good. You have like all of these things, but sometimes like what is really upsetting the characters, I'm not fully understanding why. Why are you
Yeah.
so mad about this?
Yeah.
So like Chrissy and I talked about this. One of the things that I didn't understand is that like getting what is it? Registered?
Oh, right. Hmm.
because you find out at the end that Arthur was like moving people who were unregistered like around from like place to place so that they wouldn't get registered. And to me, I'm like, what happens when you're registered?
Yeah. Like, are they able to track you and then they can further control you? Or no, because all the kids are registered and they seem to be doing pretty good on the island.
Right. Like what do they do? Because it's like if you're like, well, being registered is horrible. It's like, well, every citizen is registered. When you're born, you're given in the US a social security
It's
number.
true.
They're
Yeah.
tracking you. Everybody's registered. So it's
Good
like,
point.
what particularly about the magical people being registered is bad? It sounds like it's very bad. I just don't know.
Right. I think that's a great point. Yeah, we don't really know the motivation. We're just like, okay, sure, we're gonna fight this until the
Yeah,
end. I don't know why, but
exactly.
we are.
Right, exactly. And I think that kind of makes it to me, it makes Arthur seem like a little
Vengeful?
vengeful or like unreasonable or
Yeah.
like I understand he was deeply um
Abused.
abused. I was gonna say like let down by like the system. The system did not work out for him.
Right.
But how common is that? Is that everyone? Is that just him? Are there like success stories? What happens when people get
Hmm.
registered? Do they all have a bad experience? What
From
are
what
they
it seems
doing?
like, it sounds like yes, 100% of the people who go through the government systems bad. Unless you're with Arthur Parnassus or like Byron and the other guy, I
Yeah,
forget his name. Like I guess there's like but they're not working for the government. So like there's only these underground situations that are good, is what it sounds like.
to me, when TJ was talking about Arthur like traveling these people around, it to me it was giving like Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's very clear that with the Underground Railroad, you have people who are literal slaves and they're being freed and you're helping
Yeah.
them get somewhere. What is Arthur doing? He's just moving them around place to place. Were they
Forever?
enslaved before? Forever? Where are they going? Like,
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe okay, they're okay, so a magical creature is registered. They got to go to school now. They have to go to one of the orphanages. And once they're there, they're abused. So if they're not registered, then the government can't track them to force them to go into an orphanage. So maybe that's what it is. Because maybe the idea
yeah,
is that if you're registered, you go to the orphanage, all orphanages are bad. So maybe that's kind of like the slavery thing. But there's not a
yeah,
great solution because they're not living a they're not living their life. They have to be in hiding all the time. Is what it sounds like.
right. When Arthur was like hiding them around. And then he just got tired of it. And then he was like, I'm out of here. It was
Ah.
strange. So that part to me, I feel like I feel like that's why not all of this is landing as good as it could.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. I think something else too that came up here where I was like, what? Was so in the first book, I took all the magical creatures to be a stand-in for potentially a lot of different groups, but like especially LGBT plus
Hmm.
group. But
Yeah.
then all of a sudden in this part, it's like you have the island where it's this magical place, everyone's perfect, nothing goes wrong. Then they
Yeah.
travel over to the city, and now all of a sudden we're hearing like, oh, they're used to this lady, she didn't support queer families or transgender or like all these other things. And then I was like, what? That's in this world? Like I don't know. It did that seem out of place to you? Because I kind of, for one, everyone we've met is gay, so I didn't realize I was an issue in this world. I'll be honest. I kind of also thought the only like thing they were fighting was for the magical people, but the magical people represented all of those groups. So then I was confused that all the groups exist. I don't know. For me, it took me out of the story where I was like, which world are we in?
Yes, I agree because I even on page 67, I underlined this is when they were in the Senate. Um, Whoever they're talking about, Janine Router, aka J.K.
Mm-hmm.
Rowling,
Oh
supported
my God.
legislation that would have made it illegal for children who come from queer families to talk about them, saying that it would only confuse children who come from italicized proper families. And that is like confusing because how I read the first book, and how I imagine this world is that we're in a place where being gay, being in the LGBTQ community is totally normal, no issues there. But then you have these magical versus non-magical, and that's like the representation.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe what he means by queer families, maybe he's meaning like intermixed or like magical families, because Arthur
I
and
don't know.
Linus, but it's strange. It seems like there should have
Yeah.
been like a better word for it. Like if he would have said like magical families or intermixed families
Yeah.
or something like that to try
Yeah.
to like represent.
Right. Because now it seems like those are separate groups from the magical people. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but for me, it seemed a little strange. Also, okay, this was another thought I had, which I did feel like it was a little preachy at this point. I got more into the story later, but for this beginning part, I
Yeah.
was like, oh boy, like, I don't
Yeah,
know. It felt like
it was
Bonnie
a
Carlos.
diatribe.
Yeah, it
It
was
was a
a lot.
diatribe.
And in my mind, I was like, I feel like TJ had a list of marginalized groups, and he's like, all you guys are being represented in this book. Like, I see all of you, which is like great. But it just seemed like, okay, so we have the queer families and transgender right there. Then later on, someone is like, oh, well, something about like being treated differently as a woman. I was like, okay, now we have misogyny too. And then later someone says, well, it's like, oh, it's because of my skin color that you're treating me different. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So I didn't
yeah,
know we had all these issues in Marsyas Island. I thought it was just the
yes.
magical people. I
No,
don't know.
the magical people are way down on the bottom. There's all these other on top.
What?
I think, yeah, I agree. It was, and I think that's kind of why I wanted to do the research on like the motivation for the book, because it's like
Yeah.
that part of the book was not for you. It was not for me.
Yeah. Fair. Fair. I got it.
Yeah, that part of the book were for people that are feeling attacked, feeling unwanted. And I think literally, like you said, this is TJ saying, I see you. I
Yeah.
see you. I support you, XYZ.
Yeah. Which is, great. You know,
Yeah.
that's
But
the story he wants to write. Love it.
yeah, right. But it is very much like
It felt out of
preachy, a
place.
manifesto. Yeah.
Yeah. And preachy. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. So early on in the beginning, they, Arthur, the kids are like, oh, why do you have to go to court to, testify? And he's like, or they're like, will they even listen to you anyway? Something like that. And he's like, oh, I gotta go. And he has this analogy where it's like throwing a rock in a pond and you make the ripples. And he's like,
Hmm.
all it takes is like one person to make a difference. And like that changes another person and it causes all these ripples. Like in the end, it causes a big effect.
Yeah.
Which, what do you think of that analogy?
I liked it. What do you
I
think about
like
it?
so okay, so I like it too. Honestly, I think it's a good analogy. I was just in a mood at this point
Yeah.
because I was like, I totally get what he's saying, and I do think it's a good analogy. But also, I see throwing a rock in a pond as like you have the rock and you know 100% what all the right things are, and you throw it at someone, and now they need a change. And there's no like conversation happening. There's no sort of like compromise. And like maybe there doesn't need to be compromise. I don't know.
Wait,
But
where's this quote? What page? Let me read it.
for me, it was page 39. But let me find it because we have different pages. Okay. So he says, I prefer to think of standing before a vast lake on a windless day, the surface smooth until one of us, say you, Sal, picks up a stone and tosses it into the water. What happens then? It causes ripples. Yes, and what if you, Fee, picked up your own stone and threw it along with Sal, and the rest of you did the same? The ripples would bounce off each other, spreading in new directions, growing as more people toss their stones in. And if we keep on doing it, who knows how far the ripples could reach in the end? Sal nodded. We keep on throwing stones until someone listens. Talia said, why don't we throw real stones at them? And then they said, violence is never the answer. So okay.
Okay, okay.
They said it's not throwing stones. I get it. I get it. It is a good analogy. I really like the analogy, honestly. But part of me was like, it sounds like they have all the answers. Throw it. We're going to teach you what's right. And there's no sort of like back and forth.
I see. I think more of what they're trying to say, how I took it, was more of let's make noise so that people see us and that people hear us and that
Yeah.
people know. And you might not make all the right choices along the way, but it's like if you do nothing, then nothing
Nothing will
changes.
change. Yeah.
And I think saying how, like, even if I think more of what the analogy is trying to say is I can do even if I do something small, if we all do something small, it turns into something big.
Hmm. Yeah. I think you have the right read on it. I like that read a lot more.
But I mean, there was a part like just before that where, and I thought it was interesting because TJ, he'll be like making an argument basically, and then he'll contradict himself and kind of like think through it. It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. Um, so Arthur's talking about the government and how he's like there's like a feedback loop and like people
Mm.
just talk about like the hatred of othering people, blah 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 blah. And then he's like the feedback loop never ends. And then Sal interrupts, aren't we doing the same? And then he says, we're surrounded by like-minded people. We all want the same thing or something close to it. Isn't that an echo chamber? How does that make us any different?
Interesting.
That's what I wrote, literally.
I know. Honestly, I was like, yeah, good. So did he answer that? Because I remember reading that and being like, that's a great point. But what did he say in response?
Well, I think that's where he goes into like the feedback loop. He doesn't really, or not the feedback loop, the ripple effect. So I don't think he really
Oh.
ever fully addresses
Oh, really? He doesn't
his,
address it?
well, he basically, so then Arthur says,
Oh,
excellent to
yeah, I see
Sal.
that.
I don't think I've told you how impressed I am by you today. You are correct, which is
Oh.
exactly why I need to take our truth out of this house and into the ears of people we don't trust to hear it yet. Even then, I prefer to think of it as standing on a vast lake of windless day. Da, 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 da.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. That is his answer.
So yeah, so I guess that is his answer.
Okay. So he's saying he's going somewhere new so that he can talk with new people. Okay. Okay. So he's getting out of, just everyone thinking the same thing
I
and causing
To
ripples.
me, how I
Okay.
took it is it was like he's exiting his feedback, his own echo chamber to go infiltrate the other echo chamber and then try to cause a disruption.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much that he's trying to disrupt his own echo chamber,
Okay. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So are you saying like he's like, we don't need to be disrupted. We're good.
I think yeah, you see, I think that's kind of what Arthur's almost implying, but if I had to like think about this critically, I think what is trying to be said is more of like any echo chamber is bad. And we need to be open to hearing what other people think and experience and being like
Yeah.
open to that. And that's like really like the key. Because if you're like open to like really hearing someone and being willing to change your opinion, which I mean, guilty, so, sometimes I'm
Mm-hmm.
not willing to change my opinion. I'm too strong in it. So it's like if you're willing to be open, change your opinion, then that's really like the I
Yeah.
in this world in TJ's perspective, like the ideal.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Do you think, yeah. Yeah, I guess so when he goes to the government, he does try to have a conversation. Like he is open to talking with them, but then they kind of shut it down, type of thing is what it sounds like.
Yes and
But
no. I felt like Arthur was like kind of hostile there. I mean, as
yeah,
he should be, but
right.
he was not in a place of, he wasn't willing to change his mind
Right.
about
I know. See,
anything.
that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like it feels like everyone on Marsyas Island, they have all the answers. The whole world needs to change to what they think.
Right.
Which is like, and they seem to be one big happy family. Like I don't know.
Yes, it really does seem like they're the big bad and these people are like 100% good
Yeah. And I
and the other
think
people are
just as far as the
100%
story
bad.
goes, yeah. As far as the story goes, I'm like, okay. But he's more so just, like we said before, he's trying to tell, I don't know, what would you say? Like have
I think he's
people represented.
Yeah, I think he's trying to write a story of hope and optimism
Right.
for people, for a group of people that feel
Yeah.
very alone,
Yeah. And so I could see that.
you know? But there
Yep.
are some like points where like the government saying like you're in, they say possession, but you have these children who could potentially end the world. Like,
It is a big responsibility.
yeah, why do you get to just have these kids and do whatever you want with them? You know?
Fair.
And I'm like, I kind of agree, right?
Yeah,
You know,
I
and
get it.
they they talk about Lucy and they're like his purpose in the world apparently is to destroy it. So it's like, and he's like nature versus nurture. And they're like, can you nurture that out of someone? I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a fair question.
I know. I kind of agree. Which I guess, if we were to have TJ Klune in here or Arthur or whatever, it's like, well, if they were to actually visit the island with an open mind and see how the children are, they would see that this is like the best thing for them.
Hmm.
But you're right. I think it's kind of valid to have questions. But the government isn't, they don't have good intentions. So that's the difference.
And what I like about TJ is that he writes both sides of the argument very often.
Yeah, I do like that.
His characters don't think it or agree with it, but it's like TJ will write it. So I wonder if it's more of like you're seeing the 100% good against the 100% bad, and then you and me as the reader are seeing some of the gray in between,
Oh, I kind of like that.
you know?
I like that idea. Yeah. But I mean, I think Arthur also, he knows both sides of the argument. Because, like, when he's teaching his classes, they go through, like, oh, what's this philosophy? What's the counter argument?
Hmm.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they'll kind of go through and they'll think through it and X, Y, and Z. But Arthur, especially in this beginning part, he is in no place to accept anything that the government might say of like, and I mean, I feel like he feels like he can't because if he gives them an inch, then they'll
Right.
take total advantage of him. So I understand why.
Yeah. Right. And from what it sounds like from the government, he's exactly right. They are just
Mm.
fully evil. You can't compromise with evil. That's what it seems to
Right.
be.
Yeah.
So,
But I think the other part is that when you look at individuals within the government, you do see people who are more nuanced, like the people trying to help Arthur, like in the beginning, to the lady who was married to a magical person, or this or that. So it's like, I think that's the other thing that's not highlighted as much, and I wish it was, is that you have like the government as a quote entity, but the people inside it aren't bad. You have maybe
mm,
some bad actors,
okay. Yeah.
but like
Yeah, the
Linus
big
came from,
leaders. Right.
yeah, but Linus came from the government. He wasn't bad.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So the government isn't 100% bad.
I think as an organization, as a machine for these magical people, it seems
Yeah.
to be pretty bad.
Janine
But
Router is 100% bad.
she seems 100% bad. J.K. Rowling.
I know. Oh, does it say
She
what her
seems
middle name
100%.
is? It's
No.
got to be Karen or something because JR right now, her middle name has to be something with a K. Yikes. I did not pick up on that.
Oh, J.K. Rowling? What is her middle
No, no.
name?
So Janine Router, her initials right now are JR. Does Janine ever get a middle
Oh.
name? And I bet it's with a K. I mean, right?
Yeah.
So, but I don't remember if we did say that. Wow, I totally missed that until I read the acknowledgments.
Well, so something else that I would say, like a point in the government's bucket, is that apparently Arthur talked about his story for 3.5 hours,
Yeah,
uninterrupted.
I know. Honestly, yeah, that is impressive.
I'm like, all right, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
And it was televised or, radiovised,
radio,
whatever,
yeah, broadcasted.
broadcasted. Yeah. So like people had access to it. The government
Like
did have their agenda.
yeah, they had their agenda, but it's like, to put a 3.5 hours. I was like, that's insane. That's too long.
I know, no bathroom breaks.
Yeah, like I mean, at that point, write a book and then give them an executive summary. People are not. I mean, I just don't think you could listen that long. 3.5 hours,
That's
a
a really,
monologue.
I know. And then they questioned him for lots
Oh
of
my God.
hours.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Looked up Janine Router. I don't know if she gets a middle name. According
Okay.
to Google, I couldn't find one, but
Hmm.
the clues are there. Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, the government they did listen to him. So that's something.
Yeah. So I don't think TJ executed this perfectly, this front matter. I think what he did execute well was getting his points across.
Of
That
like
was very clear.
that. Yeah. Very. I got that. Okay, I had a question. This one was me just picking on things because I agree with the point he's making. I agree with the point he's making.
Yes, yes.
But he said, um, okay, so they're talking about like punishing kids. This is during the court hearing. And one of the judges says, I was punished as a child when I was wrong. My father took a switch upside my rear when I stepped out of line, and I turned out just fine. And Arthur thinks, I wouldn't go that far, which is funny. He goes, I'm sorry, I truly am. A child should never be struck as a form of punishment. And this was the part where I was like, hmm. He said, it's understood that one should never strike a pet such as a dog because it's cruel. But when it comes to children, we're supposed to think that it's for their own good and they'll turn out just fine. I refuse to believe that. I was like, okay, sometimes you hit dogs. Not brutally, but they're dogs.
Sometimes.
That was a really minor point. I don't hit kids. I got that. But I was like, TJ, do we think that hitting dogs is cruel?
Look, I'm if I had a kid, would I spank them? Probably
I mean,
on
like a
an
light tap.
occasion. Yeah. Am
I
I gonna
think it can
go?
communicate.
Yeah. Am I gonna go beat them up until they bruise? Like,
No.
no.
Yeah.
But sometimes when someone is unable to communicate because they're not old enough, I don't know. Maybe there's other techniques. I don't know. But yeah, it was. I think that's probably what's rubbing you wrong is that he says should never be struck as a form of
It's
punishment.
just
There's a
so
lot
black
of
and white.
like, yeah, there's a lot of like, you don't do this. We never do this. This is always
Yes.
bad.
Kind of similar to all of our things with lessons in chemistry with Bonnie Garmus, where it's like it's so black and white that clearly this is the right thing all the time. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
And that was just the whole book, especially this first part, where I was just like, oh my gosh.
I was like, get me back to the island.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I agree.
I need Chauncey
Like,
back.
oh, love John C.
So
Do you
I
think
had
he
a
needed this?
this front matter.
Yeah. If you were to be his editor, what would you recommend?
I think for the intention of his book,
That's true.
he needed this.
Yeah. True,
I think
true.
for who he's writing to, he needed it. I
Good point.
think if we were trying to make a really tight book for the story for story's sake, which has like a little bit of political commentary,
Yeah.
no, probably not.
Yeah. Probably condense it a
But
little bit. But yeah, that's a
right.
good point. That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Who he's writing to, yeah, I think he does need it.
Yeah. You're right.
We're not who he's writing to. So, there's that.
Guess that's it.
Yeah. So so after Linus, I don't know if he proposed before or after this trial, but
Is after.
it's after. Okay. So Linus is with Arthur and he finds out on the stand with everyone else that Arthur used to like, I don't know another word other than traffic in like a non-negative way, like moving
Help
people. What do you
smuggle
call it?
people around.
Yeah, he's smuggling people around like under the government's nose for
Like getting them
years.
to safety.
We don't know where they went. It sounds
Yeah,
like there's
that's
nowhere
true.
safe. But
That's true.
he was doing something illegal. And I said, I said, Linus finds out Arthur is a commie, like a communist. Red flag or deal breaker?
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I just had no questions. He's like, got it.
I would be like, you did what?
Tell me more.
Yeah, I would not love that.
Especially it's like, because it sounds like Linus really didn't know what Arthur was doing before he returned to the island. I would have thought that
No.
they would have talked about that at some
That's what
point.
I'm saying. Like the fact
I
that
don't know.
like Arthur never told him all of this,
Yeah, there's
I
like a
would
whole
be
life.
right. I would be alarmed. I'd be like, okay, what have you been doing? Now I need to know. Like,
I know. Yeah. What else should I know about? Yeah. If you're getting married to someone, I would want to know
yeah.
their whole life.
I also had a question when we go to Byron and the
Who's the other
people where we
guy?
get
David, where we meet
Jason.
David.
I don't know. Yeah, David. Um, so we're going to get David the Yeti, the new child.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Byron and he's there and he has like a bunch of like magical adults and they're all like kind of living in like this communal home.
Jason and Byron.
Jason. Yeah. And I said, "Do magical people work? What do they do as adults?"
I am so confused where Arthur Parnassus is getting all this money because they buy scuba equipment for everybody on the island. They buy so many things. Like, where are you getting money? That's a
I
great
think,
question. What are these people doing? I don't know.
okay, with Arthur, I think because they're magical, they just make things happen.
I mean, that sounds like a great way to do it.
Yeah.
I
Like
would too.
it sounds like Zoe, she's a food sprite. She can just grow whatever they want.
Yeah, you know?
Lucy can just make things appear.
Yeah, he's developed a lot of skills in this book.
Yeah, he could just do whatever. I mean, I can see why the government's alarmed. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
like
yeah, so what are these people doing?
what do they
So they
do?
can't work. I don't know. That's a good point. I don't think they're
Like
able to work. Like I don't think, they'd be allowed to work.
so that would be a reason to not want to be tracked if you could be a human passing magical person. Like
Oh,
if Arthur
and just
can just
apply
look
for a
like a
job.
yeah, if he just looks like a human and then he can apply for a job. But then if
Mm,
he so it's like if you're closeted versus if you're outed. If you're outed, now you can't
yeah.
work anywhere. And now you're
Yeah.
reliant on the government that killed
Okay.
your family and your
Right.
communities and like
That's true.
ran test experiments on you, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds
Does
bad.
it does what does it say about this group of people? Because like, are they like we don't maybe maybe are they getting help from the government because they have an inspection coming up? So the government knows about them. So they're a house for adults. Like how Arthur's a house for
Yeah.
kids, this is a house for adults. Um, but yeah, it is a little bit unclear. And like, maybe that's our own like what American bias
Bias.
coming in. Yeah, where we're
Yeah.
like, you gotta work. What's your identity if you don't work? What's your purpose? And they're like, we're just living life.
Well, I don't
Sounds
know.
good to me. But like it's good to do good work. I don't know. I don't think they say what they're up to.
It's not just work, but it's like, what do you do with your life? What are you doing with your life other than just living
Yeah.
in this like commune with these other people? And maybe that is the problem, is that you're not allowed to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's it.
And I think like what the schools are also trying to teach with the curriculum is to like not use your powers and try to be like as human as possible or like to translate it would be like don't be gay, pretend to be
Hmm.
heterosexual, pretend to like girls, pretend to be macho, pretend
Yeah.
to like dresses, whatever the stereotype is. Like just try to blend in and not be
Yeah.
you. But
Yeah,
some of these people, like David, he's a Yeti. He can't be anything but him. He can't blend
right.
in.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's it because I back on the island, Chauncey's working as a bellhop, and I think a few of them have like jobs in the island. And so it's like
Yeah.
you could work. Like they're showing, what an alternative is. But yeah, it seems like in this world, this part of the world, yeah, working
Hmm.
isn't an option.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think about David's introduction?
I thought it was like really interesting, but I was also like, I would not take you because he was
I It was wild. I was like, what? Okay, I have questions for Byron and Jason of like, you knew he didn't have to audition to get into this school, right? And like, did you help prepare this kid to meet these people? Like, did you talk about it? That's my question. Like, David really grew on me, but I will say this first introduction, I'm like, yeah, be yourself, but also like, just, say hi to someone.
he is
Is that a mean
clearly
thing to say?
no. I mean, he's had no parenting, is what it sounds like. And then these people that took him in, they because you're right, they should have like said now maybe what he wanted to do, because at first I thought he was doing the play to basically talk about like what his life was.
Yes.
But then it turns into like him killing all these people by the end of it. And that's when I was like, you can't come to the island, boo. Like,
I
you're out. There wasn't a test, but now there is.
I know. Which I think the idea of it is like, here is me and all of my craziness. And it's like, and I still love you, which is like, that's a beautiful thing. I do
Yeah.
get that. But also, I feel like it's wise to, like, there's a certain, I don't know, is this wrong to say, like, cultural norms of like, hello, my name is David. How are
Yeah.
you? I think that's a great thing
Well,
to teach.
okay. No, I agree. But let's just imagine you're David, you're 10 years old, you've had no one raise you, you have no guidance, you are trying to basically get adopted.
Hmm.
These people are coming, and it's like, it's either this or nothing.
Yeah, you're gonna give
And
it all you
so,
got.
yeah, and you're like, well, what do I have to give? And you're like, you know what? I can put on a wig and do a song and a dance and like really wow them and like show them that I belong and I'm meant to be. I could see a kid being 10. I could see a 10-year-old kind of coming up with that. Now, what's strange, like you said, is why didn't the adults say like, oh,
This isn't an acting school. Like he was just
yeah,
totally, he just had,
clueless.
yes. Yeah, he thought he was going to an acting school. Why didn't they correct him? I don't know. That seems like a good thing to do.
I agree. And that is a plot hole.
Oh, because I had a similar question when they're like, okay, come to the island with us. And David's like, yay, I'd love to go. And then they're like, he's unregistered, right? Or
Yeah.
something. So they have to like hide him as they're taking the train and going across the whole city to go back to the island. And so David's like, don't worry, I got a great disguise. And so he comes up with this like trench coat thing and he like pretends to be an adult. And it was the same thing where I was like, the adults didn't think about this. Why was it up to the 10-year-old to decide how he's gonna traverse the whole world undetected? Why didn't they
So
help him?
with that one, I took it as like he didn't need to be doing any of that. He just needed to be like normal. And then he rolls in and he's like, hey guys, great idea. I'm gonna be walking around in like my ice heels and
Oh
a
my
trench coat with a wig, and I'm gonna blend in. And then Arthur was just like, great, love it. Let's go.
Okay, I like that read a lot more, that he didn't have to do anything. So no matter
I
what he did, it was fine.
I took it as like with the second part, I took it as like he didn't actually need to do any of those things. And he just took it upon himself because he's like, dramatic and like extra. And he's like, how can I like, you know, kind of like Chauncey a little bit, where he's like, "Oh,
Mm,
I'm
hmm.
playing this part of I'm going into subterfuge, and I have to be like a spy, and what's going to be my disguise, and da 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 da."
Yeah. Okay. I do like that. However, I this is actually technically in chapter 7, so it's not in this part, but it's on the first page, so I'm gonna read it. So David decides to go, um and then it says, since he was unregistered, Arthur and Linus were concerned that if anyone saw him, they might ask questions, especially with Arthur's face splashed across every major newspaper. It was David who figured out how he'd go incognito. Granted, he might not have fully understood the meaning of the word, seeing as now he was 6 feet tall, walking on blocks of ice that grew from his feet. So, so David came up with his plan, and all the adults were like, "Great idea." And I was like, "Is it a great idea?" I don't know. Apparently, it worked, so I guess it's fine. But it just seems like they're leaving David totally on his own when parental
Yes.
guidance is a really good thing. Is all I'm trying to say.
No, and I think I would agree. And I think there's a level with Arthur where it's like he does like the quote unquote free range parenting.
Yeah.
And while it's good in a lot of ways, sometimes you need more structure. And like we get into the next part without spoiling too much, but David has some ideas of what he wants to be, and Arthur's just like, "Yes, girl, yes, do what you want." And then it causes Arthur problems later on
Mm-hmm.
with some of the other children because now he's giving conflicting advice.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So even though it's like in a lot of ways, I think how the book is set up is that everyone on the island is perfect and everyone in the government is evil. I think if you like start to like look at some of like the smaller actions, like for example this, I would say that this was like a mistake. I think it was a mistake that Arthur didn't get a lawyer for this big presentation. I thought that was crazy.
Great point. That was never mentioned once.
I
He
was
probably
like,
wouldn't trust any lawyer, though. There's probably not a magical lawyer.
I'm sure he could have found someone that was like magical incognito or like magical adjacent. I don't know. But like
That's
there's
fair.
things like that. Like I don't think Arthur does everything 100% right.
Yeah. I think the idea, though, is that there's very few allies in the
There are
world.
very yeah.
So maybe it's like the chance of finding a lawyer who's on my side. Impossible.
Well, I think Arthur feels like that because his world is so small because he's lived on the island.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point.
I think Arthur has made his world so small.
Mm. Oh, yeah, maybe
Hmm.
Arthur is a little bit more nuanced
Hmm.
than we think.
Yeah. But I think Arthur thinks that he does everything right. And that is annoying.
Well, I feel like the book presents him as he is the standard of what is right, except in
Yeah.
a few cases where, other characters correct him. So,
Yeah.
but overall,
Overall. Yeah. So I think Chrissy and I were toying if we should do it in 3 or 4 parts. I think we can definitely do it in three. I think if we go to pay to chapter 12, 7 to
okay.
12 next time, and then 12 to the end.
Oh, yeah,
Or
that sounds
13.
like yeah,
Yeah.
13 to the
So
end.
up to 12.
So we finished 12. I
We
forget
finish
what happens in
11.
12, so I don't know oh, okay, so finish 11.
Yeah. So 275.
Okay, sure, we can do that. Oh, maybe we do have
Yeah.
the same pages.
Yeah. I'm telling you, we
Oh, we
do.
do. Oh, one time it was different, but I guess it wasn't. Okay. Wow. I have a lot of get a clunes, but it's already been an hour and a half, so maybe we can
I
save them for later.
know. I know. We might just have to do a bonus episode. Vocab only.
Just yes. It'll get 0 listens.
Ah. Maybe someone will be studying for SATs.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They just need to read TJ Klune.
I know. That's it. Okay. Well,
Hey.
this was great. A lot of good
Yeah, this was
conversation.
super fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for chatting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Part 2. I love you.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.